Media Studios. I'm your host, Madison Valentine, and alongside me today is Drew Cordrey. How are you doing today, Drew?
I'm doing pretty good. I don't know about you.
I'm doing pretty great. I'm excited for getting into the show and also getting into Thanksgiving break coming up. Ready to be off of school for a bit.
Yeah, same here.
Well, with that, let's get into today's show.
Yep. Every year, thousands of Americans enlist in different branches of the military in order to protect our country. After serving, these brave men and women return back to their homes and everyday jobs. In honor of Veterans Day, we talked to some members of our East community who have served in the armed forces in order to learn about their time in service.
In the United States Air Force. My official title was para-weatherman, so insert joke here, but we jumped out of planes with Special Forces or 82nd Airborne or even Navy SEALs, and then we collected and disseminated and forecasted the weather. Every year I had to get certified to fire an M16 on the shooting range. I always struggled with that. Sometimes I'd have to do it 2 or 3 times. However, on the M9, the 9mm, I was an expert. So terrible with M16, expert with M9. First year I was at Fort Drum, New York, which I hated because we're really close to Canada. I had 120 inches of snow in 1 year. So I volunteered to get out of there, and that's why I went to airborne school. And then my 3 years after that was at Fort Bragg, which was a lot better. You had the mountains, the beach.
Was in the United States Army Reserve.
I was in the United States Marine Corps.
Hey, Sergeant.
I was a private through sergeant.
And when I commissioned, I achieved the rank of captain or 03.
I mentored Marines, led Marines, did maintenance on heavy equipment, physical training. We had to do like actual courses, so we did like little mini school courses and things like that too.
When I was enlisted, I was a heavy equipment mechanic. When I became an officer, I was a trained military intelligence officer, but I spent most of my years as an officer doing supply and logistics, actually, so tracking, moving equipment.
Veterans Day was November 11th, but American citizens of various ages, races, and genders serve our country every day. We at East Media want to thank all veterans, both in our school building and around the world, for protecting our nation.
This year's formal theme is Winter Wonderland. Formal will be taking place December 10th at Southside Elementary from 8 to 11 p.m. Make sure to get your tickets now for $10 before the price increases to $15 after break.
FCCLA is selling corsages and boutonnieres for winter formal. QR codes are posted on flyers around the school or on the EastITS Learning page. Orders are being accepted through December 2nd, and all profits will go towards FCCLA.
Hey Drew, this is kind of a random sounding question, but how tall are you?
I'd say 6 foot, somewhere around there, probably.
Well, I'm 5 foot and I would be drowning in this, but you would also be drowning in this. There was a lot of snow in Buffalo over the weekend. A record 72 inches of snow falling in just under 24 hours. That's 6.5 feet. But thankfully here in Columbus, there's a lovely lack of snow this week. Our very own Cameron Claywan has this week's forecast.
Thank you, Madison. This week we're going to be seeing some rising temperatures in the mid to high 50s for Thanksgiving break. Today will be sunny with a high of 55 and a low of 28, along with 9-mile-per-hour winds. That sunshine will last till tomorrow. We'll see a high of 58 and a low of 32, as well as 6-mile-per-hour winds. Thursday will be partly cloudy and reach a high of 60 degrees with a low of just 44, as well as 6-mile-per-hour winds. It's safe to say it'll be a cold week, but highs in the 50 to 60 degree range should provide a nice break from that cold. That's all for the weather. Now back to you guys.
After the break, East Media explores how the theater department is changing things up with their recent musical production, Ranked.
We'll look back on the recent election results and how they'll impact our school corporation's future.
All that and more on Torch TV.
In our student parking lot. Watch out for pedestrians who are walking in the road. Park within the yellow lines. Play music at an appropriate volume. Dispose of your trash properly in the bins put around the parking lot. Thank you for making our parking lots a safer and cleaner place.
This past weekend, Columbus East Theater Department performed its fall musical, Ranked. However, it had such a special aspect that typically isn't seen in high school theater productions. Projectors located on each side of the stage played video segments entitled The Average Update. Throughout the show, most stories in theater are told live on stage, but these segments required hours of pre-production. The characters on screen, Nate and Kelly, were played by Jack Burbrink and Emma Burns. In addition to playing their roles, they curated the set, created rundowns, and edited the pieces together. They also had assistance from fellow theater department member Lydia Taylor. Together they created an interesting perspective within the musical's plot, The Average Update, provided the characters shows with details on their peers' grades and rankings. This unique form of storytelling greatly benefited this past weekend's performances.
The Multicultural Club is hosting a Thanksgiving celebration today during both lunch mods in room 246. If you're interested, you can contact Mrs. Gunsher or Mrs. Sullivan with any questions.
The Advent Stamp Test is a free test where you could earn 6 world language credits for displaying literacy in a foreign language. If you are fluent in another dialect, see Ms. Sullivan for more information and to get signed up.
Election results for Bartholomew County are in, and most areas performed as expected, with the county being firmly in the red. However, the most interesting candidates the people were voting for in this election were our nonpartisan school board members. There were 4 seats up for grabs, and this year there were 11 candidates in total. Yet what stuck out in particular were 2 groups. One committee, entitled Dads for Change, supported more traditional views on education. All 4 dads were vocal about the censorship, or banning, of books that they thought to not be age appropriate. A second group, titled Supported by Teachers, provides a more progressive view of how to approach education. The candidates for Supported by Teachers expressed wanting to leave censorship matters up to the parents and teachers individually, citing the importance of learning about diverse groups. 2 members of each group won a seat on the board, the only incumbent winner was Rich Stinner, who along with newly elected Dale Nolan represent the teacher-supported committee. From the Dads for Change group, Jason Major and Logan Schultz were elected. With divisive splits on policy and a 50-50 split on the board, time will only tell where the board starts to steer our schools.
Now, over to Abby with East's recent competition results.
Tomorrow, our boys basketball teams play against Silver Creek here in the Orange Pit. JV starts at 6 and varsity at 7:30. Tonight, our girls basketball teams face off against Brownstown Central here at East. JV starts at 6 and varsity will follow at 7:30. Turning to our girls basketball team, the Lady O's have played the toughest schedule in the state so far. With 4 of their first 6 games coming against highly ranked teams, the Lady O's won a huge game against the number 10 East Central and stand at an even 3-3 on the season. Joining us today is senior point guard Allison Craig with us to talk about the Lady O's and what they have ahead of them. So how are you doing today, Allison?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. That's great. So you guys have had some pretty tough games and teams to play against recently. How do you guys prepare for those teams?
Well, we focus a lot in practice about being aggressive and focusing on our defense. And we just really take time to scout our teams and know what to prepare for.
Awesome. The East Central win was killer for you guys. How much does a win against a sectional rival mean to this team early in the season?
It was a great win and just a really good morale booster coming off of 2 tough losses against Fishers and HSC on the previous Saturday. So having that win was really exciting and helped us go into the next 2 games.
So what goals do you guys have for the rest of the season?
Well, a lot of us hope to win conference and to also win sectionals. We won conference the last 2 years, and we hope to have a 3-peat.
So lastly, you're a senior, so there's a lot of experience on this team. Is there a certain amount of pressure that comes with that?
A little bit, but I always know that my teammates will lift me up and just really instill confidence in me and just in each other. So I always am thankful for them, and they do a great job in helping me and helping the team.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking with us, Allison. Good luck to the Lady O's for the rest of the season. And remember, tonight, girls JV and varsity basketball will play Brownstown Central here in the Orange Pit. JV at 6 and varsity at 7:30. Make sure to show up and support your O's. Lots of other games in the week ahead, and after we come back from Thanksgiving break, be sure to head over to the Columbus East Athletic page to see more information. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Abby. That's all we have for today. From Cameron, Drew, Matthew, and the rest of the Torch TV crew, thanks for watching.
Remember to take care of yourself, others, and the place. And as always, try to be the best part of someone's day.